This one is for the hoes and these judgmental ass Christians who think that they know all there is to know about spirituality just because they rely on one book written by a slave master, by the way. You got the ones that be like, that's spirituality, that's the devil. Then you got the ones that be like, see that new age spiritual stuff? When in fact, it's not new. It's actually ancient. And what's evil is, well, you'll see. They took these ancient indigenous people's stories, flipped them, whitewashed them, and then fear-mongered you into not wanting to tap into it, while using these same practices and concepts in church and to maintain their own wealth and control.
Some slaveholders imagined that capturing and enslaving Africans was for their benefit, that they were exposing them to Christianity, that slavery was a school for civilization.
Some actually looked at it as it was their chance to be missionaries, even though they bought and were using these people.
Most folk who defended slavery were justifying it on the grounds of Christianity, and they pulled from the Protestant faith and also from the Catholic faith, using the Bible verse, slave, obey your masters. If you are obedient to your masters and your mistresses, there is a reward in heaven for the kind of work that you do.
From the 1830s onward, Southern politicians began to construct an argument that slavery truly was ordained by God and would give birth to the best of all possible societies.
Now, as you saw in the clip, white people use Christianity to enslave our ancestors. They used it as an excuse to justify what they were doing. As you heard in the clip, there are even verses of the Bible that condone slavery, that justifies slavery. And they use that to their advantage to rape and pillage indigenous lands. My mother taught me this a long time ago because she prides herself in knowing history. So it's definitely the truth. And she's Christian. Book of Peter, chapter 2, verse 18. Slaves, in reverent fear of God, submit yourselves to your masters, not only to those who are good and considerate, but also to those who are harsh. Wait, what? Not only to those who are good and considerate, but also to those who are harsh? Now, I don't know about y'all, but that sounds crazy to me. And there's no way to make that sound good, although pastors do try to insult your intelligence like that. Ephesians chapter 6, verse 5. Slaves, obey your earthly masters with respect and fear, and with sincerity of heart, just as you would obey Christ. Now, I don't know about y'all, but that sounds crazy to me. Wait, obey my earthly masters as I would Christ? You mean Christ wants this? Exodus chapter 21, verse 32. If the bull gores a male or female slave, the owner must pay 30 shekels of silver to the master of the slave, and the bull is to be stoned to death. Wait, what? Now, I understand if they were talking about a real bull, but that says male or female slave. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but a slave was a person, right? So are they referring to people as animals? Y'all tell me, because I'm confused. Exodus chapter 21, verse 7. If a man sells his daughter as a servant, she is not to go free as male servants do. Wait, what? if a man sells his daughter as a servant, she is not to go free as male servants do. That sounds like misogyny, toxic masculinity, and whatever else the feminists are complaining about these days. Y'all, I might not be pronouncing these books right, but y'all let me know. But Colossians chapter 4, verse 1. Masters, provide your slaves with what is right and fair, because you know that you also have a master in heaven. Wait, what? Did that just say provide your slaves with what is right and fair, because you also have a master in heaven? Now, I don't know about y'all, but that sounds crazy to me. And a contradiction. I don't care how your pastor try to flip that in church to make it sound good. Reading it for yourself do not sound good. Now here we go again. Ephesians chapter 6, verse 9. And masters, treat your slaves in the same way. Do not threaten them, since you know that he who is both their master and yours is in heaven, and there is no favoritism. So you mean to tell me that not only are these people buying and selling people as servants and as slaves, but God is okay with this? God said this was okay. But he destroyed an entire city, Sodom and Gomorrah, for homosexuality? I don't understand that. I don't understand. Somebody enlighten me, please. Is there a reason why they say don't question it? I, for one, believe that the gathering together to sit and listen to a man preach the word of God comes from slavery. Now, a lot of Christians don't really read the Bible for themselves. A lot of Christians just go to church and they hang on to every word that the pastor says. But newsflash, the pastor is not the only one with connection to God. He's not the only one with a mind. He's not the only one who can read. Because this is exactly how it was done on the plantation. Because remember, slaves could not read or write. So they would gather around the slave master to see what he said about God, which is what brainwashed them into believing that this was the way of life. You have your own mind now. You can read and write now. You have the freedom to use your mind the way that you would like. Use that shit. Because to be honest, how can the people that are enslaving you, beating you, and murdering you tell you about God? Or tell you how to live your life right? Use your discernment. Because how many times have we caught pastors for infidelity? How many times have we caught pastors for pedophilia? We all know about the Catholic priests raping the little boys, the altar boys. Come on now. And these people telling you how to live. Magic is the art of controlling and directing energy. When spoken out loud, words transform into frequency and vibrations. This whole reality is energy.
Hey, what's up, guys? Billy Carson here, Forbidden Knowledge with the number 4. Just wanted to hop on here real quick and talk about a post that I made the other day. There's a post that I made about a young man named Maxwell Lohan that actually invented a free energy device at the age of 14. He actually did this a couple of years ago, so he's probably 16 or 17 by now. The gentleman, or the young man, he found a way to extract energy from electromagnetic waves that are already flowing around us. And there's trillions of these waves that are already flowing around us. he invented a device that was a very simple device that would capture these rogue frequencies and actually then convert them into energy. And how can you do that? Well, electromagnetic waves are literally waves of light. And just because you can't see them with your eyes don't mean that they don't exist. These waves are literally flowing around us 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The only ones that we can see are the ones that are very small, limited range of light or perception by the human brain and our retinas. But these waves are there. And almost just like capturing sunlight, you can capture these waves and then convert them into an electric charge, which is what he did. But that's not the point. That's an amazing thing for a young man to do, especially for that kind of a budget of $14. What was a little shocking to me were the comments. The comments on the post. It was on Instagram where I saw the majority of the extremely, derogatory comments. Not derogatory towards his invention, but derogatory towards his life. In other words, people were coming on there almost immediately saying, he's going to be murdered. He's going to be killed. He's going to be shot. They're going to shoot him in the head. They're going to shoot him between the eyes. They're going to kill him. He's going to be dead, dead, dead. Now, we got to get to a point as a conscious community, and where we are really understanding that words have power. I've been talking about this for so many years, doing lectures about this, doing podcasts and videos and YouTubes about the power of words. I guess people have not really been paying attention, or maybe these are a lot of new people that just started following the account. Words truly have power over the ether of space-time. Matter of fact, every time you have a conversation about anything, you're casting spells on space-time. Every word that comes out of your mouth is casting a spell. And when you write it on paper, it's casting a spell. That's why they call it spelling. You're casting spells. When you say a prayer, you're trying to cast a spell. You may not want to admit that's what you're doing, but that's what you're doing. You're trying to cast a spell. How do we communicate? Well, we emote these cymatic vibrations up out of our vocal cords into the atmosphere so that we can have a direct effect. And how do we gain this direct effect? This direct effect, these frequencies and vibrations travel throughout. They reverberate through the ether of space-time, and they're directly linked and synced with other parts of the quantum world, as well as your ear will pick them up, or somebody's ear will pick them up, and then convert those frequencies into information that's understandable to take commands or to do things. So we have to understand that there's serious power in words, and you need to look no further than Masaru Emoto, rest his soul. He really was one of the very first scientists to do a study on the power of water, the power of words on water, where he would actually, take jars of water and write labels that said things like "I love you," or a prayer, or "I wish you the best," or "I hate you, I want to kill you." And then he would come back and analyze these water droplets that he would take out of them and put them under an electron microscope to analyze the crystallization of the actual water droplets. And he recognized that the droplets that were blessed or said "I love you" or had a positive affirmation looked perfectly crystalline, and the ones that did not have a positive affirmation were malformed dark crystals. Some didn't even form a crystal at all. So we recognized early on that the words have power over space-time just because of that experiment. And because the human body is 70 to 80% water, when you're talking to somebody, you have to watch exactly what you say, not only to them, but even what you say out of your mouth, because that same frequency you're putting out is being picked up by your ears, going right back into your body and directly affecting your own DNA because you're made up of mostly water. So words have serious power, and when you continue to put words out with a specific intention behind them, you're now casting spells. So the point I'm making here is I put this video out about the young man that invented this machine that can extrapolate, electricity from electromagnetic waves right out of the atmosphere. And for so many hundreds of people to go in and then cast a spell on this man saying that he's going to be dead and shot and murdered, we got to get to the next level of consciousness. We're not there yet. We're not there yet. We have to raise up, guys. The only thing you should be doing is understanding the power of the affirmation, the power that's in your body, the power that's in your command, from your own cymatic frequencies. And you should be commanding peace and blessings on this man. You should be commanding that his inventions become very successful and help out mankind. You should be commanding that his safety needs be met. These are the commands that you should be putting out there for him, not saying, oh, he's dead, he's shot, he's over, his life is over, he's going to be strung up and killed, he's going to be cut open, all kind of crazy comments. Guys, we have the power in us, and what's happening is we keep relinquishing that power. We keep giving up the power. We keep giving it away. And how do we do that? Our collusion with the matrix system. The matrix system, the Agent Smith effect, jumped into your body and said, this man's got to die. He's got to be killed. He's got to be murdered. And then everybody started putting that same frequency out into the atmosphere. So what do you think is possibly going to happen? You guys literally casting a spell on this young man based off of, past experiences and past news articles, instead of realizing, let's rob the power from those elites. Let's rob the power from those archons that they've been stealing from us and putting and silencing our great minds. And let's turn it around and put the power out from ourselves and command things into existence. Command this man to be saved. Command his invention makes it to the right level and it reaches into the right hands, and that it becomes a successful invention that gets handed down to the people, that his safety needs to be met. This is the power that's inside of you to command these things into existence, not to say that this man's going to get slaughtered, murdered, killed, raped, and everything else you guys were saying. We have to understand the power that we have when we're typing words. No matter where you're typing it or saying it, you're still putting out those spells out into space-time. Like I said, in Masaru Emoto, put words on a jar of water. Okay? Words. That's it. Words backed by conscious intent. So when you type in those comments, he's dead, you just cast a spell. You just cast a spell on him. You may not want to admit it, but that's exactly what you did. So, this is what I'm just saying, guys. I'm not coming down you. I'm not browbeating you. I'm just saying we have to recognize, hey, we got to take a responsibility for the things we say and think as well, and we got to be smarter. We got to be smarter, and we have to understand the divinity that's inside of our bodies and how to use it, how to actually, create our own reality tunnels, how to change and alter future realities. When people say, what do you do for a living? I say I create ripples in space-time that alter future realities in the third dimension. That's what I do. I time travel with thought and intention and vocalization, cymatic frequencies, and I create different futures for this planet. All of us have that power, every single one of us, and we got to recognize it. We got to step up to the plate and make it happen. All right. So peace and love from Forbidden Knowledge. Remember that next time. Let's stop cursing people down and putting spells on them in a negative way, and let's lift them up and let's bless them and let's put positive power out there, and let's command their success and command their reality work out to the best favor, and command their safety and security as well. All right. Peace and love from Forbidden Knowledge.
The next day, as they were leaving Bethany, Jesus was hungry. Seeing in the distance a fig tree in leaf, he went to find out if it had any fruit. When he reached it, he found but leaves, because it was not the season for figs. Then he said to the tree, "May no one ever eat fruit from you again." And his disciples heard him say it. On reaching Jerusalem, Jesus entered the temple courts and began driving out those who were buying and selling there. He overturned the tables of money changers and the benches of those selling doves, and would not allow anyone to carry merchandise through those temple courts. And as he taught them, he said, "Is it not written, 'My house will be called a house of prayer for all nations,' but you have made it a den of robbers." The chief priests and teachers of law heard this and began looking for a way to kill him, for they feared him because the whole crowd was amazed at his teaching. When evening came, Jesus and his disciples went out of the city. In the morning, as they went along, they saw the fig tree withered from the roots. Peter remembered and said to Jesus, "Rabbi, look, the fig tree you cursed has withered." "Have faith in God," Jesus answered. "Truly, I tell you, if anyone says to this mountain, 'Go throw yourself into the sea,' and does not doubt in their heart, but believes that what they say will happen, it will be done for them. Therefore, I tell you, whatever you ask in prayer, Believe that you have received it, and it will be yours. And when you stand praying, if you hold anything against anyone, forgive them, so that your Father in heaven may forgive you. So we all know that saying, that phrase, that question. What would Jesus do? Well, sound like to me, Jesus would do some magic. In that Bible verse, that story, he cursed the fig tree. But what I really want to focus on is the part that he said at the end of the verse. Have faith in God, Jesus answered. Truly, I tell you, if anyone says to this mountain, go throw yourself into the sea, and it does not doubt in their heart, but believes that what they say will happen, it will be done for them. Therefore, I tell you, whatever you ask for in prayer, believe that you have received it, and it will be yours. So, is Jesus teaching his disciples about the law of attraction? And did Jesus ask or demand for that tree not to bear any more fruit? Jesus straight up said, if you were to go and tell that mountain to go throw yourself into the sea, and does not doubt in your heart, but believes that what they say will happen, it will be done for them. I mean, Jesus straight up put a curse on the damn fig tree and killed it. Just because he was mad, there wasn't no fruit on it. Because it wasn't fig season. Now, y'all let me know if I read that right. So, in the Bible, Jesus said with his own mouth that anything you say and belief behind it will happen. Now, let's talk about adding the elements with it and how that is even used in religions all across cultures and in the church as well. Because a lot of y'all be like, oh, but you don't know what them spirits is. But Jesus is dead, right? He's not alive. So that will make him a spirit, right? There are even candles with Jesus' face on them. The fire or the flame acts as a conduit to direct your energies or your intentions straight into space-time or the universe or to the spiritual realm or to God or whatever ancestor you want to pray to. Jesus would be considered one of those ancestors or deities. And the image is just to specify and to be clear on who you want your intentions to go to. So while y'all be calling on Jesus, think about that next time. And ask yourself, do you really know who you calling on? Or are you just relying on the belief alone? And when you write it down and bury it, it's like planting seeds into the space-time or the universe or to God. Because like I've said in previous videos, I think that God is everything. I think that everything is connected, everything in the universe. Now, as you can see on all of these spiritual altars or ancestor altars, there is a candle that's lit or candles, multiple, herbs or bowls of water to represent all the elements. And then there's a statue or picture of whatever deity or ancestor of their choice that they want to pray to. On this one, there's an incense to represent air, one candle to represent fire, and a bowl of water to represent water. And those beads, those are crystals to represent earth, because crystals come from the earth. On this one, there's a photo, looks like of somebody's relative, passed over loved one. Now, this is the one that scares people because it's African. These masks are what people are afraid of. These are the images that make people think voodoo. Now, as we saw at the beginning of the video, white people used Christianity to justify enslaving people and raping and pillaging indigenous peoples across the world's land and resources. So, of course, they had to demonize your ancestors' spiritual practices in order to convince you that their religion is the right one and to get you to be obedient. Now, Jesus also did things like walk on water and turn water into wine and healed people with his hands. And that actually exists today. It's called Reiki healing. And most people, especially Christians, don't even believe that it's real. Now, according to the Bible, we're living in the times of the revelations, which means that Jesus is on his way back. Should be back any minute now, right? But if he came back, would y'all even believe that it's really him? I don't think y'all would. I think it'll be another repeat of the crucifixion. Because if a man came out and said he was Jesus and he was healing people with his hands and doing all of these things, people will be calling him a cult leader, a psychopath, a schizophrenic, mentally ill, crazy, a false prophet, a fake, a scammer, and everything else. Now, I want to conclude this video with a verse from Psalms chapter 82, verse 6. I have said, ye are gods, and all of you are children of the Most High. So you mean to tell me that even God said, ye are gods? Because all of you are my children. That is what this verse says. You are an extension of the Most High. Period. Drops mic.